There we go.
How
We're
you
on.
doing?
We're live.
We're live. Hey, everybody, it's Street Fight Politics back. We're down to, what are we down to? 35
5
days,
weeks.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Everybody's starting to get into their corners and into their silos, but there's still a few people undecided. I mean, it's like amazingly. And again, there's been a fire hose of stuff that happened between last Tuesday and this Tuesday, which will come up later. One of the things you've probably seen is there's been some notable celebrity deaths in the past 7 days. We had Dame Maggie Smith, 84. We had Pete Rose yesterday, 83. We had John Amos, who was on the Jeffersons. And yeah, he died today, and he was 81. And there's actually several more that I can give. But, the point being with that is we have a presidential candidate who will be exactly in that age range. And unlike those other people who took care of themselves, we have a person who has never seen the inside of a gym.
Diet Coke all the time.
Diet Coke, healthy hamburgers. That's literally a quote. And so really, this isn't something where if you're going to be voting, that you're voting for Trump, you're actually voting for the future president, J.D. Vance. Now, if that doesn't scare crap out of you, that is, to me, that phrase is terrifying.
If that doesn't scare the crap out of you, then just wait for a couple hours and you can see why it should.
Yeah, exactly.
And after watching Rachel last night do a little special on him, holy mess.
Yeah.
Holy mess.
So anyway, that's my thought for the day, and it's, that's the light, lively stuff. So I'm going to turn it back over to Terry here, and we're going to get into the meat of the show.
Well, I want to bring up one quick one. We can't ignore the 180 some odd missiles that Iran just launched at Israel. All but just a very few of them were shot out of the skies by Israel and us, which basically means this is a big, wet temper tantrum on Iran's part that once again shows just how impotent they are. And I've gotten a lot of comments on my feed about people saying, well, I'm really worried. I'm really scared. Look, guys, here's the deal. Iran can't hit Israel, and they're only 500, 600 miles away. They certainly can't hit us, and we're 5,000 miles away. Right. They have no ability to hit anybody really outside of their immediate neighbors. So, yeah, they could launch a terrorist attack, but your chances of getting eaten by a shark or getting involved in a mass shooting are greater than you being involved in a terrorist incident in the United States. So,
or getting electrocuted on a boat with a big two-headed bat.
I would say even less than that. Yes. So
hey, I have a sailboat, so hey, good to know.
I would say really the only thing you have to do is just don't go to Israel anytime soon. Just like I wouldn't travel to Russia either. That's just put them off your travel list. Go later. Wait till the world calms down and see. But right now, everybody chill. It's okay. If you got relatives there, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
I don't. Therefore, all right. So let's talk about the chances of winning this election. As we know, if you didn't catch it in 2000, then you should have caught it in 2016. It ain't about who gets the most votes. It's about who gets the most votes in the right places. All right. And that changes depending on the states and all of that sort of thing. So what I've done here, and give me a moment to flip over this map, what I have done is using 538's election map, which basically means that, hang on, I got a present button here. Stand by, share screen. It can never be quick and easy. All right, now. You guys should see a map right now that says ABC News 538, your choice, your vote. You see it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is not what 538 says is going to happen. It's close. What this is it's really it starts out as a blank map that have all the states with their assigned numbers of electoral votes. And anybody can go on here and then put in what they want. If they want to see if Colorado is going to vote or if California is going to, how's that going to go? Where are all those electoral votes going to go? Now, just to save time, I went and pre-coded the states that I was pretty sure are going to go another way. We can argue about it, but in reality, is anybody going to argue that California is not going to vote for Harris, or that Texas is not going to vote for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And we can look at that, but I kind of think that's the way it's going to go. And just to give you an idea, here's Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee is going to vote for Trump. So if we can agree on this, then let's talk about what the reality is and what Harris really has to win in order to make this. Now, let me start out, and then I'm going to turn it over to you guys, and we can play with it. Nevada, I think, is going to go for Harris. It looks that way. She's been solidly in the lead for quite a while now. The Senate candidate there is in the lead. It looks pretty good. And her lead seems to be expanding there. Virginia, where I'm living, it is definitely a purple state. But right now, Harris is 10 points ahead. So is the Senate candidate. So we're looking very, very good in Virginia. So, and pardon me for having to mess around here with the actual screen itself, but if you look up at the top, that puts her at 253.
Whoa.
So she only has to win 17 more. So let's take a look at what else is out there.
Yeah.
I think Georgia is going to go red. It's trending about the same way as Arizona, and we can argue about Arizona, but I think Arizona is going to go red as well. So now that puts Trump at 241. You can see already that Harris is looking better than Trump at this point. So what does that leave in play? Well, certainly South Carolina is going to go red. They haven't gone blue since the Civil War. That's an overstatement, but you get my point. And oh, by the way, these places where you see red and blue stripes in Nebraska and Maine, they actually they split their vote. So there's almost always one district in each state that goes the other way. So Nebraska almost always has a blue district around Omaha, and Maine almost always has a red district somewhere in there, usually in the middle of no place. So really and truly, this is now coming down to Pennsylvania and North Carolina. And before I forget, yep, I coded in D.C. D.C. always votes blue as well. So what happens right now? Harris is winning in Pennsylvania. Let me scan down again so you can see how this works. All right. So look. I'm going to click Pennsylvania blue, and right there, if she wins Pennsylvania, she's at 272.
Without Arizona or Georgia.
Without Arizona, without Georgia. North Carolina, where the governor candidate is losing badly on the Republican side, and Harris is neck and neck, further ahead in North Carolina than she is in either Arizona or South Carolina. And depending on the day and the hour, she's either above Trump or just below. If she wins that, she absolutely wins. If she wins North Carolina and loses Pennsylvania, she has one she's got to pick up somewhere. Where would that be? So you see how close this is going to be, or could very well be. Will probably be, I think, is the better way to say that. Let's look at the other way around, though. All right, so let's say that Harris wins Pennsylvania. What about Trump? What does he got to do? If he wins North Carolina, he's only at 266. If he wins North Carolina and loses North Carolina and wins Pennsylvania, he's right at 269. There's a vote that's got to be picked up. Did I miss something somewhere? No, that's what it's telling me. So I just want to say, you can see for yourself, guys, this is absolutely going to be a really super close race where we get down to the eaches, but it's very winnable if we can pick up. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any little districts here on the side. If we can pick up North Carolina or Pennsylvania.
That's the nightmare scenario. You didn't miss anything. That's the tie.
Okay.
So they ran there was I think 538 ran this AI simulator 100 times. And one time out of the 100, this came up, the tie.
Yep. I saw that too. And what I saw the last one, and it varies on the day and by the hour, it seems almost. But what I see in the last one is Harris has got about a 60-40% chance in their estimation, which is really interesting. I did note, and Stacey, I think maybe you're going to appreciate this. The Cook Political Report just coded, this is the headline 30 minutes ago,
Okay,
just
yes.
coded Texas as lean for the Senate race now, not the presidential race, but Senate race, as leaning blue.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Oh, that would be an amazing pickup.
I want to talk about Texas because that's where most of my family and a lot of friends are. And after sending out that podcast, a lot have responded to I was just shocked that they are leaning toward Harris now. I am shocked by some of these. Yes, some of these people. And then one happens to be in Kansas, but she came forward and I never thought she would change. And she said, Stacey, we align more than you know. And I voted for him twice. I cannot do it again. In Arizona, all my neighbors, the signs that are out now, they're couples, they're husbands and wives. So I'm hoping Arizona is at least purple, but really I'd love to flip it. But I haven't had none say Trump. I'm going to be honest. But yeah, the Texas ones that have flipped, one has moved to Georgia now because of how radical Texas has gotten. And she said, that's a purple state also, right? I don't know, what did Matt just say, but
I think it's a lot like Arizona in that Atlanta is blue. Everything else is pretty damn purple, or pretty damn red. Sorry, pretty damn red.
And my friend that moved from California to North Carolina, she sent me a thing, not realizing I'm already on the list for canvassing and just all of that. And I was so proud of her. I'm like, but with the devastation, that's concerning for her. And of course, the Electoral College is a concern for her, but she's on ground. And when we're on ground, I'm getting such positive feedback. I know there's a bunch of them out there going for Trump, okay, but I feel like there's so much more who went for him before and they have changed their mind from a woman's perspective, because this is affecting my friends who had to have an abortion, almost died because she didn't want the abortion. Her baby died and she had to have one. This was years ago, but now coming back, she said if it would have been now, she would be dead. So these problems for my women friends who might have voted for him, I'm telling you, they're switching.
Well, that's why I want to pull that map back up, because I want to go on Doc Eddy's theory of the hidden abortion vote and a lot of these.
Yes.
Because I think that's the surprise, because it's traditionally, when you look at it, a lot of these women would have voted for Trump. But abortion on the ballot in Arizona, Florida, Texas, and I forgot there's like 14 other states. I don't remember which ones. Missouri. And with Missouri, you've got a phenomenally unpopular senator in Holly. So I think you go back now, Louis. I mean, it's like, I'd like to get your opinion on what you're seeing out, especially in Arizona. But, and again, I live in a silo, I'll admit that, but it's like, I'm getting way, way more interest, in my opinion, from my colleagues and nurses than I ever got before. And so, I look at it using my theory. I think Arizona goes for Harris. I think Georgia.
I think so. I'm with you on that one because of the people I've talked to.
I think Texas or Florida flips for Harris, which is why if that happens, it's not even going to be close.
Well, okay. So what do you want me to play with here as far as clicking states and turning them one color or the other? What do you want to see? Because right now,
I want Arizona blue.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you, if Arizona goes blue with 11 votes, that absolutely that is decision proof.
So they were saying with the poller in the polls or whatever, there was a talk about all these new Republicans registering to vote. And my husband and I were talking this morning. I said, I've got to lean towards some of these Republican women are registering because they want to protect their rights. And I just feel in my gut, I know, I mean, I could be just hoping, but I feel like some of them are like, I'm done. I'm going on. And, she registers that way because her spouse or partner or whatever. But when she goes in there, it's going to be a vote for our freedoms.
Well, Louis, what are you seeing? You are our professional political guy.
Yeah, tell me what you think. Am I crazy? I am crazy.
Well, I'm just going to use my experience in all the elections I've ever been in as a guide here. I think that Arizona, I think it stays red, but the reason I think that, traditionally, when people do voter registration drives, those people vote for that party.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was hoping different because this hasn't been on the ballot, so I just hoped.
Well, like for example, when you not to get like into the weeds, but like when you do a voter registration drive and you have somebody fill out a form and you get all their data, you are hounding them from the day up to the election. Go vote, go vote, go vote. Here's who you vote for.
Right.
So they're almost like, told what to do. But there is one like wild card, and Ed kind of mentioned this, and that's the, all of these people that are out there that are being polled are leaning Harris, or it seems like they will. I don't know if there's more of them or more of the new registered voters. That to me is the biggest wild card. It's going to be about turnout. I think Arizona stays red, but by a point or two. I think it's going to be super close.
And maybe it's just because I have as much experience in Arizona as most of y'all. So I just don't see Arizona going blue.
Right.
But I can see North Carolina going blue.
I think North Carolina goes blue. I do.
Yeah, I think North Carolina goes blue. So if magic happens and she picks up some other vote somewhere else and she gets North Carolina, she wins. Trump absolutely will not win if he doesn't get North Carolina.
Right.
Harris can if she gets North Carolina and maybe one of those other districts, maybe that district in Maine. Who knows?
I think she wins Pennsylvania, by the way.
I do. You know what? I do too. And I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket, but realistically, I think she wins Pennsylvania as well, because they have first off, our Senate candidate there is ahead. That's another, plus point there. They have voted solidly blue, close, but still solidly blue in the last elections, the midterms, and of course in 2020. I can't see them flipping back. I really can't.
Well, I mean, that's why I look at Arizona. Is our Senate candidate in Gallego is solidly ahead of Scary Lake, and it's like they're going to have a debate, and he's going to very subtly tie Trump around her neck and vice versa. So, I'm thinking that the coattails in this case may go the other way, that it may be pushing the coattails up.
But, Arizona still has the largest, as far as percentage wise, a larger number of independent voters, and they are notoriously ticket splitters.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was thinking about when I was asked the question earlier is, I don't know if a Gallego voter is a Harris voter.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Well, I am.
Or the other way.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think Gallego appeals more to an independent than Harris does.
Probably.
The military, that kind of thing. I don't know. I just kind of what I'm, going off of right here.
I would think that, Harris voter is going to be a Gallego voter.
Well, here's another thing, another dynamic. The Hispanic, the Latino vote, where Harris is winning, but not nearly by as much of a factor as Biden did. And when you look at it split by gender, male Latinos overwhelmingly support Trump. So going back to what Louis just said, a male Latino who's going to be one who will be affected by that. And again, I'm not trying to typecast all Latino voters or male Latino voters, but those who are going to be affected by that.
But the Hispanic women are going for her.
Yes, but again, this now splits the vote and makes it a much more complex situation where you can see an Hispanic male who would vote for Gallego because military, another Latino male, etc., and say, but I'm not voting for that bitch. You can just see that.
I know a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had read that was 50 years old and younger. Is that right? For those leaning toward her in the Hispanic vote, is that true, or did I misunderstand that?
Well, I don't know.
I was trying to figure out the age group, which I don't know. Okay.
Well, that's why I can't really replace Steve Kornacki, because he'd have all these numbers.
I love that guy.
My understanding is Hispanic women strong on Harris, Hispanic youth for the most part, strong Harris, but still with that male component that is supporting Trump.
And the thing is, how active are the male voters going to be?
Right. And to that point that he just made also, they're not necessarily voting for Trump. It's more of like they're voting for a conservative thing. It's like a conservative thing.
Well, Laura just put up an interesting question: is who's going to be certifying the vote in the House come January 6th?
Yeah.
And the answer is it's going to be the new Speaker of the House.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to wait.
So yeah, if the Democrats, which is what I think is going to happen, then it's going to be for King Jeffries, and then it's not something we're going to be worrying about, unless, of course, there's 10,000 people trying to break in to kill. Well, Mike Pence isn't there to kill anymore, but it's like, you get the idea.
Well, I think first off, I think Capitol Police and the Metro PD here are probably going to be looking out for that. To answer that part of Laura's question, though, who's going to be the VP? It's going to be Harris, who's going to be the president of the Senate, who will be presiding over that process. And no, that's not a conflict of interest. That's how the Constitution designed it, and that's exactly where Al Gore was in 2000 when he certified the vote for his opponent. So that's just the way life's going to be. Yeah.
Someone, not to throw like a curveball in here, but someone was talking to me today. They go, what if, talk about all these weird scenarios. What if, because we're not going to know the winner. I mean, it's going to be a while.
I know.
Correct.
What if like Harris loses, right? Trump wins, and then Biden drops dead, and then Harris is sworn in as president, and then has to. Isn't that bizarre? I mean, these scenarios are not
That is, but nonetheless, at that point, I mean, I know what the legal answer is.
No, right. But I mean, can you imagine the chaos is my point in that?
Oh, my heavens.
Bizarre scenarios.
Please.
Pretty much anything you can imagine is like, chances are it's going to happen. I mean, it's like, there's no scenario that is too, weird.
Right? There isn't. What if there's another assassination, a successful assassination? Right. What if Trump just strokes out? Because, I mean, that could happen. Right. He's probably closer to that conclusion than Biden is, to be honest with you, but I'm not the doctor here. I mean, there is no too weird thing. If it's possible, it can certainly happen right now.
Yes,
it really can. I mean, it really can. I mean,
and the scenarios change every day. They change every day.
Literally,
the scenarios.
Literally. One thing though about Arizona, and I was going to throw this in.
Better be good, because I'm not liking what you're saying.
This is good. Okay, I always like to use like sports analogies, and like if you notice, like in sports, I don't know, take baseball for example, since we're approaching the playoffs. It's not necessarily the best team that wins. It's always a team with momentum. Yeah. And if you look at Arizona, the momentum is definitely with Harris. I just don't know if it's enough to change the tide.
But if you look in the other states, it's also with Harris. North Carolina, Pennsylvania, even Georgia to some extent, it is with Harris. And so will that momentum overcome the stasis? Well, I'm a Republican. When I look at North Carolina and see the possibility there, the possibility screams to me that damn governor candidate is so god awful. I mean, he's worse than Trump, if you can believe that. Oh, and so I really do think that, one, there's going to be a lot of North Carolinians who are going to say, Republicans who are going to say, I'm just not going to go. I can't do it this year.
That's fine.
And here's the other thing. Where all of that devastation happened, I'm going to be very cynical here. Where all that devastation happened, that was in the red part of the state. They've lost a number of polling places. And they've lost a number of ballots that were flooded out. That's in the news today.
No, worried about all that.
There's another reason for people not to show. I got to fix my barn. I got to, dry out my house. I got to do.
Yes.
And again, that is a heavy red part of North Carolina.
Well, I mean, the other thing is that everybody's always a Republican on an issue until it happens to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And, exactly.
I don't know that it's, that's going to wake anybody up and say, maybe I'll support Biden since, he was, unlike Trump, who was sitting there tossing,
paper towels.
Or Trump, who's outright lying and saying that Biden did not contact the governor of Georgia. When the governor of Georgia said in his news conference, yes, he did. Yeah. I talked to him. He gave us everything we wanted and more.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like if you listen to Trump recently, he I don't know if he's strategically doing this or not, but someone is in the campaign that he literally does not have to talk about policy. He
No, he
literally
goes,
believes that there's
he goes
people out there
radical.
that don't care. You know,
And
I mean,
everybody's so a lot of those people are turning off the TV. They're not getting to know her anymore because they're the devil, you know. They're going to pick him because they're sick of that. They don't show him in a positive light at all, and that's their strategy. That's their strategy. Let's get these people to turn off the TV because now she'll never gain anything because they're not going to learn about who she is. They're not going to read about it, and they're just going to go with the devil they know.
You know what? I'm really not big on. Well, my friends say, and I've seen 3 people who did this, but last week I spent all of last week in Northeast Georgia, 70 miles northeast of Atlanta. A hurricane passed right over that 2 days after I left. And I stayed there in a very small town called Cornelia with a friend, helping him through a really, really tough personal time. We did not talk politics at all. I'd no, that wasn't the point of the visit.
But
nonetheless, we're sitting there watching TV, and he literally is at a point in his life where he's breaking down and crying every couple of hours. And commercial comes on for Trump, and he's like, fuck, and turns it right off.
Right. I think that's their strategy.
And so I think there are a lot of people who are feeling that way. And there have been some headlines recently about the Democrats are noticing that the Republicans are starting to freak out in these blue wall states, that a lot of people are being very put off by the violent rhetoric.
And the stupid comments.
To amplify that thought is I think one of your good clues is how the leadership of the Republican Party is acting, and it's like they're on max freakout mode right now. It's like and that's pretty much nationwide. And at that level, they're not doing it because they're getting the real internal polling that it's not shared with anybody. So they're seeing the real numbers, and that's why they're reacting like they do.
And one of the things too. 2 points. One is they're not related points, but the first point is I was born and raised in California, and I've met Harris before when I was in office, and she is not as liberal as people are saying. Like the Trump campaign, she's actually very moderate. When she was the attorney general, she was not part of the camp in California that was considered more liberal. She was very moderate. And I think that is helping her in her approach in these swing states because she knows that's who she is at the core. She's not
I like that.
Being someone else. That literally is who she is. In fact, I remember campaign commercials when she was running for district attorney's office and the attorney general, that there were commercials painting her as like the liberal candidate in California.
That's why, by the way, she lost out in 2020 of the when she was running for president. Was the liberals all banded against her and said she wasn't liberal enough.
Right. But having met her and known her for all those years, she's really not. She's just from San Francisco. She's really not that liberal, right? But that's comment number one. The other comment, though, is that when you look at all this and we're calculating all these numbers and this and that, like it literally is going to be a turnout election, as all elections are. I mean, that is just so. So my ultimate point is, Ed, I don't know if you're getting it already, but mailboxes are going to be full here in Arizona, man. I mean,
mine is.
Mine
is so much.
I mean, this election is the first time I've had multiple people come knocking on my door, handing me stuff.
Oh yeah, plus a couple of days we start voting,
and it's been nothing but for Democrats.
I got my letter today. I got a letter in the mail.
my poor wife decided to register as an independent some years ago, and that she just will not go for a party, which, as you damn well know, Louis, means she gets every piece of mailer from every candidate on the planet.
Hey, I signed up for the Trump stuff a long time ago just because I wanted to see what they were sending out. I get his and I respond to every single one they send me. If it's a message, I let them know where I'm going. And sometimes it's like people's phone numbers and they're probably like, "Who is this crazy?"
You ever seen, not to divert again, but you ever seen those gag mail that you can order people? Like it's like a gag mail that says, "Thank you for supporting the Trump campaign."
Oh, I hope I don't get that. That'll piss me off.
One of the interesting things I've been noticing, at least especially around in my neighborhood, which is actually, pretty well-to-do part of the area, is the signs on the major streets are being vandalized
Yes.
instantly.
I saw it.
Like one day you come out, it's like I'm seeing faces cut out.
Yeah.
The no with a slash over it, and I mean it's pretty much, and it's on both sides. I'm seeing it. And it's
I'm up in North Scottsdale, and there's a strip. Every few steps is a freaking Trump sign. And I was like, do they really need that many? I mean, and my husband said when he drove home from work yesterday, he said somebody has removed some of them since Sunday. I didn't do it, I swear.
You guys have seen, being in Arizona, you've seen those trucks, with the big Trump
trucks. But now I saw my truck with the big Stop 2025. That's you, Eddie, Dr. Ed. I stopped him. But yeah, the trucks, I'm seeing less of those here this season. I'm seeing less of the Harris one. I mean, more of the Harris, but less of those F feelings ones,
Coming home today, I triggered somebody else. Somebody came up behind me.
I got to stop doing that, man.
Time because he was flipping me off for like.
You are brave, buddy.
He's like, hey, come on, get off on this next. Get off. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Hey, there's something I want to say about that. So, we feel like some of these radical Republicans, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was kind of that, not radical, but I was that Republican that would fight, blah, blah, blah. Well, now I'm on the Democrat side. So I'm going to fight just like you do, buddy, because I used to be you.
But I want to. Go ahead. Finish. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm on the right side now, is all I'm saying.
I want to respond to. I want to respond to Laura here because she brings up a point that I think a lot of people are in, which is all. She says, "I'm in Trump country. I'm a blue dot in a giant red stain." That's true, but you are.
I love you, girl.
You're a blue dot in a giant purple state, and every little blue dot counts. So if you're the only Republican, or if you're the only Democratic vote in your county, Laura, it still counts on the electoral college. So please get out and vote.
She's my people.
Please get out and vote and bring some friends with you.
Yes.
Where's she at?
I don't know. Ed, do you know her?
No.
Oh, Laura, what county are you in? We're just curious if you don't mind telling us, if you're still listening.
Since a crappy piece.
Maybe she will, maybe she won't.
I didn't know this was interactive.
She might not want to be outed. So
yeah, she might not. Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. Well, wherever you are, please vote. Please vote.
Love you, Laura.
Wait, I know Laura. She's using a different name here than I know.
Oh, she's in Idaho. Wow.
Idaho. Hi, Laura.
Wow. Interesting state. Yeah.
Yeah, Laura, I don't know what to tell you.
But to your point, and we're going to have a gentleman on named Tom Zollner in the next week or two, who has just published a long article that has been widely disseminated now, that is talking about one of the failings of the Democratic Party is they've sort of just ceded rural voters all across the U.S. to the Republicans. They took a strategy, decades ago that, well, for every one we lose and get to Iowa, we're going to pick up 10 in the suburbs of Philadelphia.
Right.
Which, sort of worked. But when it's this close, you can't have, 13 out of 15 counties in Arizona that literally do not have a local Democratic organization that is functioning.
And she has so much more dominance and cash that I've read this article as well, that her campaign in these states like Arizona, like North Carolina, like Pennsylvania, where she can really make a difference, where it's going to come down to how many votes actually show up. She is going out into the rural areas because it will make a difference.
Yeah. And, to all of that, if you think about it, the election is going to be decided probably before Election Day because everybody's voting early.
Me too.
When people, the campaign people, when they do this, what they do, so people start turning in their ballots and the register recorder's office records it, and you can send your campaign people down there to see who's returned those ballots. And then you can check, did we go to that house? Well, if we did, they're probably going to vote for us. They're going to have a tally.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, Georgia needs to get those early ballots out so Jimmy Carter can vote.
Oh, amen. Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Oh, I'll bet. Listen, I'll bet he's hanging on just
He
for that.
is hanging in there. Oh, he's such a
God
good
bless him. By the way, I don't want this to go without being said. I think Jimmy Carter is absolutely the best former president
Yeah.
we've ever had, and maybe ever will have. And I'm not.
Such a
not
giver.
that is not to denigrate his presidency. He did some great historic things, but really and truly, he has set the standard for how to be the next president in much the same way that Trump has not.
Yeah. Could you imagine him out there with a hammer in his hand? Right.
No.
Carter. There's about Trump. No. Right. Well, either really.
Well, I mean, if he had,
Yeah.
he would have taken it from a store and not paid for it. So,
Yeah.
Did you see that they were like he was really awkward in the grocery store that Trump the other day or something? He was.
that was entirely staged. They staged the whole
But
thing.
Of course.
But even then, he was awkward. Like he didn't know what things were.
That's because he's never been in a grocery store for real to actually get it. He's never made any late night pick up baby formula.
There's a meme going around about how no Republicans, no American voters going to be swayed by some publicity or some celebrity who is a billionaire who doesn't even know what reality is. And my response to all of that is, oh, you mean like the failed reality TV host who says he's a billionaire?
Yeah, that they had to decorate his office.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
On back to Harris real quick. One of the I don't know if you've seen these in your state, but here in Arizona, there's a lot more ads putting Harris on a world stage. Geopolitics type of thing, and I think that helps. That helps with a lot of these independents.
Yeah,
because they have the clear choice at that point.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, it's like the stuff I'm seeing on TV. It's like Harris is staying positive. It's like here's what we want to do. The Republican ads are wholeheartedly, getting more and more vicious as the days go on. I mean, they're negative,
yes.
But
Laura's asking if the VP picks will influence. I mean, I guess it depends how they frame it. It could influence it if you frame it like, we can have a JD Vance presidency.
I think if you frame it like Ed did, which is Trump is going to be 80 years old, and he is the oldest guy running for president. Period. Ever.
Normally they don't. Normally, they don't
affect it's like, I want to give a shout out to, Dame Maggie Smith's family who just died, at basically Trump's age. So, just to bring that up and get it in, subtly.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, normally the VP pick doesn't influence, but I think this election year is different. I think every little thing matters, especially the VP pick. And I think we'll find out a lot tonight during the debate.
We are. And, considering just how unpopular Vance is.
So unpopular.
Forget anything else. He's like the most, in modern measuring, in modern polling, he's the most unpopular VP pick ever. Like, net negative.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask it's going to sound like a funny question, but it's not.
Yeah.
What's up with the eye makeup thing that he wears? Is that?
Well, that is tattooed on. I can tell you, it's tattooed
Is it really?
on.
Like from a
but why? I don't know why.
That's what it's weird. It's bizarre.
Well, all I know
is to be fun. I'm trying to really understand it, but maybe
I am too. Honestly,
well, I mean, if you go back to Roman times, back 2,000 years ago, guys used to wear makeup back then. So he's probably trying to get in touch with this ancient.
Maybe I don't know.
Well, if he's Trump's VP pick, come on, he wears makeup. He's got to have a guy that.
I don't know. It's not like some medical thing I'm making fun of it. I'm
no,
serious.
You're not. It's a fair target. I mean, look at it. Tim Walz is the only one on that entire slate who doesn't wear makeup.
That is true, actually. Yeah, that's funny.
I'm all about makeup, but maybe not.
Well, it looks good on you. With me, I would look like Miss Piggy with a beard. So no.
Let's go around the table here and let's give our predictions for what's going to happen tonight, because we're running up
tonight
close to 40 minutes here. So who wants
to
go?
I'll start. I'll start. I think Tim Walz is going to end up looking normal, and JD Vance is going to look like a mean son of a bitch that's just whacked out of his mind. That's what I think. He can't hold the mean in. He's going to go on attack, and Walz is going to look like the coach. He's going to look like the reasonable person. Will he win stylistically? Probably not, but I think he's going to win the feels. I think people are going to feel better about Walz than they will about JD Walz at the end of it. That's me.
Yeah, they're going to relate more, and I'll add to that. My prediction is the same. I think Walz will win. I do.
Yeah.
I think JD Vance is not going to be an easy defeat, but I think he's going to say stuff that's going to really tick him off. I think he's going to say things, and Trump is not going to like it.
That will be fun.
He can't help himself. I think JD Vance is like that. I think he's really going to,
And I'm for Walz because I don't think JD is relatable on any level to the real Americans out there voting, honest to goodness. So.
Especially if his eyeliner starts running. But then again, you say it's microbladed.
No, I think it's
not.
Permanently tattooed on there. I know. I get my eyebrows tattooed. I can see a tattoo job.
That's weird, man.
Okay. From my standpoint, all Walz has to do is just get it to a draw. He does not have to win. All he has to do is look normal, look like he could be president and somebody that you would trust not to blow the whole world up.
Right.
And he does. And the last thing he needs to do is get down in the gutter and get down, in a name calling match and going back and forth. And he doesn't need to be doing a fact check on everything because JD is going to be a fire hose of fire.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about there is not going to be fact checking at all, right?
What I would do is everything he said is a lie, but I'm not going to sit.
Oh, good.
I'm going to be talking about the stuff I want to talk about.
I think to your point, Stacey, how do I feel about CBS? I feel like they just abdicated on their role as the moderator. I think, that is what a moderator should do. Yeah. I know debate coaches will tell you otherwise, but this isn't high school. Yeah. This isn't to try to teach you how to debate. This is about the soul and the heart of the country.
Yeah.
And so, I think there needs to be an honest broker, and CBS isn't going to do that.
Did you see the SNL skit, the Walz?
I love them.
I mean, it's funny, but that's kind of like
Menards. Menards. Oh my God, so hard.
It's funny, but that's what people. I think that's going to be his winning ticket tonight. He's going to be that normal to people.
Yeah.
So
Dana Carvey, shout out to him and doing Biden. That was good.
I'm familiar with a guy who played Tim Walton. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. He's a comedian who's been around forever, and he's from Minnesota. He is that guy. Jim Gaffigan, exactly.
Isn't that's who he was, right?
Yeah,
it is Jim. Yeah, I love him.
Really good comedian too.
So funny. It was good. It was funny.
I mean, it's going to be. But Ed, you mentioned a funny thing. You said as long as he looks like he's not going to blow up the world, he'll win. That's where we're at today. Can you believe that? All you got to do is show up and look like you're not going to blow up the world.
I know we got to get off soon, but since you said it, and there's Elon Musk who looks and acts just like a Bond villain, for God's sake. I mean, we are. That's exactly where we are in the world.
I tried to block him on X. So I said, see less of. Done.
I have friends from other countries, and they look at us and they're like, I don't understand you guys. I mean, don't understand either. I tell them, but
yeah, no, that's exactly my experience. My foreign friends who just look at us and go, dude, I'm so sorry. And I'm the one who's sorry. We're
what country? Because I have my passport is ready and updated. Ready to go.
But are either in the UK or Germany, but they're or Australia. So they're sprinkled kind of all around, but that's sort of the epicenter, northwest Europe.
Well, again, just to again amplify that point, I think a lot of those foreigners, especially you look at the Polish community, there are more Poles living here than live in Poland, and so when they get a call from the cousins from Gdansk, it's like, hey, what's going on here? It's like. We need to, Harris, not the other guy. And it's like, I think that's going to carry some weight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just to remind everybody, what time is the debate again tonight?
So the pre-show starts in 17 minutes. The actual debate goes live at 9 o'clock. So 8 o'clock is, I'm talking Eastern time. Sorry, my bias. 8 o'clock Eastern time is the pre-show. 9 o'clock is when they go open mic.
Steve is on MSNBC right now going over some polls.
Oh, he'll be back. He'll be there.
I know.
All right. Well, I need some wine before the pre-show. So
I'm so nervous about it. I shake. I get so worked up because
Do you guys think she's going to do another debate?
No.
Trump. Well, Trump said he's not.
I don't think she needs to. What about you?
Yeah, I don't need to.
I mean, I think that's where she's baiting him, saying, anytime, anywhere. and just to make him look like the coward, which he actually is.
Yeah.
And
Louis, you know the deal. Any political, staffer on Trump's team that would encourage him to have another debate would be guilty of malpractice.
Yeah, he's not going to.
Right.
No.
I don't think, right. That's why, like Ed said, she's baiting him to,
I wish he would, though. God, wouldn't that be
Right.
a good
well,
show?
that's because he knows he would get destroyed.
oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's gotten work. So I can't even imagine him being able to stay on topic. Well, he's never stayed on topic.
Well, I'm gonna try and pin this map, the 2024 electoral map link to my page so that it shows up.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to pin it to the top of the page so it's there all the time. And I will update it as needed as we go through, because I look at 538 probably 5 times a day. And that's a conservative guess.
Wow.
But I'll keep it there and we'll see what happens. And we'll revisit next week and see where we are.
That'd be great.
Okay, everybody, another good show.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
Oh, you're part of us now.
Adios, everybody.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.